My name is Malcolm Atkins. I live at 1 Westbury Crescent, which has now become the Westbury People's Gallery. It's an open air art gallery that was formed in the front garden of a suburban house between Rose Hill Estate and Cowley Centre on the outskirts of Oxford. And it was set up so that people could share artwork, especially during lockdown, in an open air space where it was safe to meet. The idea was that we wanted a meeting place for artists and musicians and people in the community, and it seemed to be a really kind of positive thing. What I was quite surprised about is how few community centres and community-oriented projects were setting up outdoor space. And I realised that I've got this corner plot, semi-detached house with a huge front garden, which is accessible from the street and safe for people to meet. So I realised this made a fantastic space for people to meet and share artworks, ideas, poetry, song, image, whatever. I've worked so much with different artists. Different artists have wanted to get involved. I'm not a visual artist myself, I'm a musician, but I've worked a lot with key artists like Alex Singleton, Julian Dorado, and we've kind of produced a lot of work between us really. A lot of it is collaborative. So Alex works very quickly, and I've discussed with him ideas such as the altar of earthly immolation, which is behind you, which is a comment on climate change. He also created a massive mural for me, Ship of Fools, which I really like, which was a reflection of the catastrophe of Brexit, with various politicians floating off into the North Sea. Those are some of my favourite, but they're the most publicly seen. But there's some beautiful, intricate work. My friend Nini Zachary helped create this meditation room behind us this year, and she helped select works, some beautiful works from Theo Armand-Jones, from Alex, from Nuzhat Abbas, which all kind of decorate that room and make it a really calming space. But I think, it's very difficult to say favourite works, and I've been immersed in helping create a lot of works, either through ideas or discussion or creating sound responses to works. So I think it's all kind of favourite work, really. Well, yeah, I think a lot of people are fascinated by the themes here. The original themes came from me and the artists like Alex and Julian and so on. And the gallery doesn't prescribe that you have to give political work. Some people have said, they really wanted something that's more healing. So Nini doing this sound healing sounds was actually an important part of actually having some method of reconciling ourselves to the catastrophes that we're kind of falling into. And other works, Julian does some beautiful work that's actually based on alchemical symbols and medieval art. And a lot of people coming in just find them quite funny, because it's not all presented in a deadly serious way. People are interested. People do like the stuff on the front wall. I mean, the idea of the front wall, there's a couple of reasons for putting stuff on the front fence. The first of these is that I'm fed up with living in a virtual social media world, and the idea of the Facebook wall is as an abstracted area where you look at something for 3 seconds. I'm really fed up with that. So having a real wall where people can interact and actually see things that are of interest seems very relevant. And also on that, I was influenced when Charles Dickens was talking about the Preston strikes in the 1850s, and the fact that where people were striking, the street walls were covered with publicity, strike songs, newsletters and so on. And so that's one of the reasons I've been putting poems and other works and artworks out there. And the West England Bylines is ideal because it gives an alternative viewpoint to the mainstream media. It's well researched, it's interesting to read, and I find it interesting to read, and people come into the gallery say they like it, but I haven't done a survey of the neighbourhood to find out whether anybody objects. But I think if people really objected, they would probably come and say to me. And the general atmosphere around here is people like the gallery, the reflections I have. The fact that it's integrated into community, because there's a community library and a book swap at the front. We're looking to set up a seed swap. So the exchange of information and artwork is linked to the exchange of books, other things. I'd probably quite like to have a library of things out the front at some point. But this is not a commercial organisation, but it is a meeting place. It's a collective for artists of all genres. So we're trying to attract artists from all genres, which includes, crafts as well as the traditional, whatever you would like to call them, high art or whatever that awful label was that they were covered by. And it also covers dance and music and all forms of expression. And obviously textiles would be really important to include too. So we cover all forms of expression, and we encourage people to share those. It's healing to work together with other people. I think that's the real thing. It's healing to feel you're part of a community. You're not just an artist who's applying for funding and trying to sell work on what is in England probably quite a hostile market. And also getting community funding, getting funding for community projects is an endless trail of paperwork. Whereas here, people can just get up and do it. It's art for the sake of our identity within a community. Every creative act, whether it's having a baby or whether it's fulfilling a skilled profession such as nursing, is a kind of a creative, it's a creative pursuit. And I would see all these things as part of our identity as human beings. And we have to pursue these creative identities as part of our communal life and to give meaning to our communal life.